It's been quite a hot minute since I've done a long video kind of showing what's going on out here. It's fall, it's middle of deer season. I figured I'd do a longer video, show you some of the updates that we have out here at the homestead, some of the stuff that we've been getting ready, and also talk about some of the new animals. And I want to talk about hay a little bit. It's kind of a boring subject, but if you have animals, it is definitely an important subject. So what little bit I know about hay, I want to talk about what I've kind of found out about the different types of hay in general, and how we've seen our sheep be affected when we're feeding them based on that. Well, I'll get into it later. I set up Jenny the other day, getting ready for it. Getting ready for the snow. So I actually used this to push a bunch of leaves off of the road. They were bad. I mean, they were deep. And I decided to give it a shot, and it worked pretty well. It's not perfect, but it definitely helps get the leaves off of the edges and out of the center so that it's not as slippery. That one spot right here, we got to be a little bit careful of, because as you're going down that hill, if it's too slippery, you'll end up in the ditch. Just ask my wife, she knows. But yeah, so Jenny's ready to go. Push snow out of the way. I think we've got some salt. So we've got ice melt ready to go. Not going to need that until spring probably. Yeah, so Jenny's ready to go for snow. Hi, Chicky Chicks. What are you doing? How come you weren't out here when I was feeding this morning, huh? So we got 2 onyx, and they were pullets, and we are pretty sure that one is not a girl. Yeah, he's way too pretty. That's a boy. That's a rooster. So he's got way better color plumage, and he's getting the golds and the browns. And I mean, we got them from Tractor Supply, so it's a 50-50 shot if they're right or not anyway. Half the time they've got the actual type of chicken wrong. But we got a couple of Easter eggers coming along here in the onyx, and they're the old girls. There's a rooster, one of them. So we'll have 3 roosters here coming up. So we'll have Fabio. I'm not sure where Napoleon is. He was in there last night. Napoleon's our little Bantam. And then we'll have Hounin over there. That's Hounin. And that's Mountain. So those are the onyx. They're coming along just fine. We lost a few more of the old girls. They like to go over onto the far side of the barn over here, which we have cordoned off. And that one right there, hi Sif, how you doing, girl, is an 88-pound chicken eating machine. She gets bored, there's a chicken over there, it's game over. So we have them cordoned off. How you doing? April, June. We have it cordoned off, but once in a while a chicken will just go full retard, and that's the end of that. Hi girls, how you doing? Hi. So as you can see, there's a lot more white ewes back here than we used to have. 4 to be exact, and it's those 4 standing right there closest to me. Sorry, that's Nova, the other 4 back there. Nova is petting zoo material, like I keep talking about, but those other 4 back there, and we have a 5th one right there, painted ram. Sorry, not painted ram, but a painted desert. She's a ewe. She's the youngest and the smallest. All 4 of those whites are Katahdins. They're purebred. They're registered. Hi, girls. How you doing? They've never been really handled a whole lot, so they're a little bit skittish to deal with right now. Ooh, that was Napoleon. What are you doing, Napoleon? Oh, they just pushed over my tripod. Didn't see that coming. What are you doing, Napoleon? So the painted is, we named her, wow, he's just getting it on. So we painted the painted, we named her Val. for Valkyries. Yeah, she's slowly integrating herself into the herd, although she's small, and so they're kind of pushy with her right now. That's all right. We're working through it. What are you guys doing? Pushing my stuff over. He sounds like a squeaky toy. There he is. What are you doing, Napoleon? What? Okay. Okay, Squeaky. Anyway, so they're registered. They're all been bred by a registered ram before we got them. We got them from a local Katahdin breeder who is getting out of the game. He has been in it for a long time, and he's very, very good at it. If you are looking for good Katahdin animals, and the breeder is in northern Missouri, they're probably going to be really good animals, especially if they have a familiar name. So there's one down in Clark, Prairie Hill Farms, that we deal with quite a bit. I wouldn't say quite a bit, but we deal with them occasionally. Very good animals. So we'll probably end up buying some more from them here in the future too. Just we'll see how many lambs we get, how well it goes through. So we put her in for breeding. We put those two in for breeding. We put Cece in for breeding. We did not put Chloe in for breeding. Hi, Chloe, because she did a lamb last year, and she's kind of getting up there in age a little bit. We gave her a break this year. Some people say that's okay. Some people say it's not. I don't know, whatever. We just decided not to breed her this year. She's probably better off not breeding. But the four that we had and we bred with Digby. Digby is our ram. He's right here. He's actually a pretty docile ram in comparison. A lot of rams get super huge and they get super aggressive. He is still very young, but at the same time, making raisins. He's actually in really good shape. He's not going to be the biggest ram in the world. He's got a little bit of Dorper. He's 75% Katahdin, 25% Dorper, which means he can't be registered. He can be put on the registration so that any of his lambs can show their lineage. We just got to work through that. And it's not that big of a deal because the only one out of these I think that we might try to register would be Nova's. Hi, Nova. How you doing, girl? Hi. Yes. So, Nova's a great animal. So, anyway, we got more sheep, and they're registered Katahdins. So we will leave them registered. They're the easy ones to find because they have double ear tags. Yeah, so we'll see what we'll do. None of them have actually earned a name yet. Numbers are food, names are breeders. Isn't that right, Nova? So yeah, let's talk a little bit about hay. You can see over here that hay feeder is empty. It is empty because, well, it's been raining and it got all wet, so I cleaned it out this morning. I didn't want a whole bunch of wet hay in there. How you doing? Yeah. She's super cuddly. Yeah, super cuddly. Yes, you are. But the girls, since we have so many of them, hi, Nut. Hi, Nutmeg. Nutmeg. So we put the big bales in here with the girls because we got so many of them now. And it's been kind of interesting seeing how it works with them, how they work through the hay, how much we're losing. Initially, we were just putting the bales straight up on the ground, and we were losing probably 20% of the bales. It was really wasteful. So we decided to get a cradle, and this cradle is working great. This is from a local company called Stegall Fabrication. Okay. not overly expensive. The other ones that we've seen like this, where you can just bring it in on tines and drop it and leave it. The other one we saw was from Tractor Supply, and it was about $600. This one was about, I want to say $750. This one has a front gate that'll come off, right? Okay, it's got a lock down here. And then the back is all solid. Everything else is welded together. The legs, they flip out and then they bolt on to hold in place. So they come in different heights. So for different animals, it's easier for them to get to it. That's interesting because what we found is that the round bales, which we have this one covered, we didn't order the cover for this. We talked about it and decided not to, but so the round bales, if they're too tight, what we're finding is we're finding that if they're too tight, this right here, see how tight this is? Okay, see how tight this material is? If it's too tight, they have a hard time pulling this out. See how hard it is to pull? Okay, and I'm not pulling a whole lot, but you see, I get down here, I can't even pull just that little bit, okay? So they'll just stop eating it. They are not cows. They are not horses, clearly. Cows and horses can get in there and throw their weight around and rip that stuff out of there really easy. The sheep they're not made to do that. They're made to bend over and just cut stuff off at the ground, and they're not made to throw the weight around trying to get food. So once a day, sometimes twice a day, I'll come in here and I'll pull this out and I'll throw it down. Okay. Just like this, right? And you can see as soon as I do that, they're all like interested. Because I'll come out once or twice a day and do that, and that's basically how they're getting fed. There's nothing wrong with this hay. This hay came from our field. They eat from our field down there all the time. It's good hay, right? It's tight. And if you get they're tightly woven means that they're more dense, they're heavier, they're easier to store in less space. There's a lot of benefits to that, but the disadvantage is, especially with sheep, you're going to have to sometimes come out and loosen bales up. That's what we're finding out. That's okay. I can live with that, right? We have plenty of hay here. We just pull it apart. Good to go. So let's talk about the other bales that we got this year. We have a bunch of square bales, okay? Let me go turn the lights on real quick. All right, let's talk about the other bales we got. We got square bales. Square bales we got from a local producer, and it's really good hay. The animals really like it. I use the square bales, and Sarah and I both use the square bales for the boys, okay? So square bales are nice because now you can basically strip off a piece, a chunk like that, right? You can just strip a piece off and you can just throw it into them in a controlled manner and measurement. They're smaller, they're lighter, they're easier. They take more work to stack. You can't use the tractor, so you can't just come in here and just stack them unless they're on pallets. So you got to toss some bales, get your work in for the day, right? The other thing is that they're a little bit harder to keep dry. You have to have a storage containers, facility, something to keep them dry, cover them up, right? But that's okay. We got the barn. So we got lots of stacked hay in here, okay? Stacked hay is hard, in my opinion, to keep in bulk. In a barn like this, unless you have a huge facility. We do have upstairs up here, and someday we may actually develop it better so that we can put a bunch of stacked hay in here. Yes, you do have to worry about barn fires. You have to make sure that you're doing it properly. Ooh, what'd I find? Yeah, okay, that's our Silky. Or Smokey. Smokey likes to lay in here. So, they love this. as soon as I rip it apart and start throwing it into the bins or the bays, they get pretty excited. Yep, they like it. So this is a little bit easier if you're gonna do ground cover with it too. So you can just, it's easier to tear apart. It's easier to maneuver, especially for smaller people like my wife. But when it comes to actual food, I have lots of animals. I gotta feed lots of them. That's her egg. Her egg. Yeah. How you doing, girl? This is the way to go. You got lots of animals. Round bales are the way to go. I really like the flat cradle where you can just drop it in instead of having to position it spool up. It may be a little bit harder for the animals to take the spools apart when you do that. Instead of taking this and spooling up, it might be easier for them to strip from the sides. But this definitely keeps them drier, cleaner, way less spoilage. It's just an easier way to go with big animals, lots of animals. If you can pull it off, you don't have a ton of animals, or you have a storage facility to handle the load, square bales are way easier to deal with. They're easier to transport individually without heavy machinery. Okay, you don't need a big ass tractor to transport them. You don't need specialized machinery. They're more flexible in their storage capabilities, so you can make them fit like we've done in here, right? They're easier to pull apart. In my opinion, if I had a choice, I would do nothing but square bales. But it's unrealistic with a large amount of animals. What's a large amount of animals? I don't know. I got 13 sheep and 9 sheep on one side, with most of them being bred. I suspect next year that bale is going to last half of the amount of life that it normally does now. So I think anything more than about 10 animals, you're probably pushing your luck using just square bales, unless you have the facilities to actually support it. And that's where you go round bale. Then you got to figure out if you want to use circles or if you want to use a cradle like that. I really like the cradles, but you're going to spend some time pulling them apart. It's just a part of nature. Isn't that right, Chloe and Nova? Yeah, that's the way it is. You can see that they're horrifically abused, and they're so skinny. Look at Fatty here. Yeah, look at you. What's your body mass index, huh? Your body mass index is, look at me, I'm fat. Yeah, you're like a 3.5. She's pregnant, I think. That's good. Anyway, that's kind of a quick down and dirty on some of the hay and new animals. And if you got any questions, post them. If you have any pointers, post them. We'll definitely take them.